Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to NBS Virtual Open House today. Thank you for taking your time off on this Saturday afternoon. I'm John, I'll be your moderator for today. And next to me we have my fellow friends. So maybe let's start off with our self-introductions first, beginning with the beautiful lady on my right, Cleo. So Cleo, would you like to start?
Yes, sure. Thanks, John. So, hi everyone. Thanks for coming today. My name is Cleo. I'm currently a Year 3 undergraduate, pursuing a double degree in accountancy and business and specializing in banking and finance.
Thank you. So, huge pleasure to meet everyone today. My name is Kim, and I'm a Year 3 business student specializing in banking and finance as well.
Okay, nice to meet all of you. Right, I'm Winston, a Year 3 business marketing student. Nice to meet everyone as well.
Okay, and then back to me, I'm John. I'm a Year 3 banking and finance student, but I'm also taking a second degree in accountancy. So, a very warm welcome to everyone today. I think let's just start the ball rolling with a first quick question. So, how has everyone's time in NBS been so far? Winston?
It's my third and final year in Nanyang Business School. I would say I genuinely had a fantastic run. I enjoyed every single part of it, from curriculum to CCA, which we could talk more about later, right? But I definitely had a great time. You, Cleo?
I think for me, I've also had, similar to Winston, I've had really good experience thus far in NBS. I've also found out, what I really wanted to pursue as a career, which we'll be sharing more about later, and also have went into many CCAs, met many new friends in NBS.
Okay, I think for myself-wise, the biggest takeaway for NBS, aside from like experiences, clubs, etc., we definitely had our fun. The biggest takeaway for me would definitely be the people, like the kind of networks we meet, and really like meeting people from all walks of life. I think that was something that was very, very valuable to me and gave me a lot of perspectives. Yeah,
I think for myself, I echo all their comments as well. I think the people I've met here have helped to propel me further in my career, my studies, etc., etc. And at the same time, we've all been having a lot of fun while doing so. So maybe let's just go into the first question that we have. That is, so why did we choose NBS? So Winston?
Rather straightforward, and I'm always no filter, right? I would say that the main reason why I chose NBS was because it was a 3-year direct honours program. I enjoyed it thoroughly because it's really a fast track compared to all the other options out there on the market at the moment anyway. And other than that, because I had seniors here, they enjoyed the curriculum. I get to do business on a broad degree and at the same time specialize in something I'm interested in, marketing. So it was a win-win situation for me. No brainer, honestly. You, Cleo?
So for me, I think was similar to Winston on curriculum and also on how we can actually, graduate with a double degree in 4 years. That was something extremely attractive to me because I wanted to do I was interested in accountancy but also finance at the same time. So I knew that double degree program will allow me graduate in 4 years with 2 degrees compared to what I can get in other universities in Singapore. I think that's one. And I think secondly is also talking about network and also about network and also internships opportunity within NBS that it's able to provide us with. Yeah, how about you, Kim?
Thanks. I think the short answer would be vibes, honestly, and that's how I really charted through life, really whether or not we like the vibes or something. But I think the long answer is there are many good business schools in Singapore as well. So for me personally, it wasn't so clear-cut of an answer, but it was more of really going to the different schools and understanding what their strengths are and what exactly is it that I want out of my university life. And then afterwards, narrowing down, understanding the curriculum, the lifestyle, etc. a lot more, and then it narrowed down to NBS. Yeah, so that's my, personally what I really enjoyed, and looking back, really no regrets lah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think similar to them, I think the timing factor was a very, very huge thing when coming down to deciding which university I wanted to go to. I think when it comes to jobs these days, people value a lot of experience, and being able to graduate faster than your peers and going into the workforce quicker, it gives you a lot more experience and an upper edge over many other people. And at the same time, when I was choosing which double degree or which school to pursue my double degree in, I think for the accountancy course in NBS specifically, if many of you realize, we are one of the top schools in Singapore for the Big Four to actually take audit students or basically hire from. So I think that was a very key factor showing that the NBS curriculum is something that is very, very good, and also at the same time will give you an advantage in the workforce, and that is kind of why I really chose NBS. So I think here we have our first question on the board. So what are the different specializations offered in NBS, and can we share more about our choice of specialization? So I think over here we have three of us in banking and finance and Winston in marketing. So maybe Winston, let's kick the ball rolling with you.
Okay, so as mentioned earlier, I am from business. I'm specializing in marketing. If you guys do want to know a lot more about marketing, we do have our foundational mod, AB 1501 marketing, in year 1. But if you choose to pursue it in year 2 and thereafter, you get to specialize. And with specialization comes a lot of other mods that you could pick, and foundational core ones, such as market behavior, digital marketing, and all of these modules you learn in different tracks and specialized tracks of marketing. The different kinds of marketing you need. There's performance, there's going entirely digital. Sometimes you learn about e-commerce in the mods that you pick, and all of that would lead down the path that you eventually want to pursue when you graduate. And it helps a lot in your internship, where you get to apply all these theoretical knowledges that you do learn in school, and really just throw it out on the workforce, where your supervisors, your inline managers will be there to guide you. It's pretty insightful.
So Winston, was there a particular mod that you really enjoyed? Would you like to share with everyone?
Okay, I would say perhaps one of my favorites so far would be on, tough to choose. I would say I enjoyed strategic brand management. Other than one of my project mates, a few of my project mates which I really enjoyed working with, they're great teammates. The professor was really great and kind, slow in guiding all of us who had trouble, whoever needed help. But most importantly, across the semester, we got to, at the end of the day, pitch to our client, Poheng, which was a really thorough and holistic experience, I would say. We went down to pitch to our clients face to face, and they gave us feedback, and it was a full circle. Yeah.
Okay, then what about Cleo and Kimberly? How has your experience been in banking and finance, and how do you choose that choice of specialization?
Okay, so for me, I think it was kind of interesting because I came from a polytechnic background and I was doing accountancy back then. And you know, coming into the double degree course, I actually initially had plans that I wanted to couple my accountancy degree together with a specialization in business analytics, because I knew how the accounting, the industry is actually changing, becoming more digitalized. So I wanted to equip myself with like a more data analytics course degree coupled together with accountancy. But I think everything changed for me after, my year 1, where we had like, foundational core mods, where we are exposed to, marketing, banking and finance, and, the different kind of specializations that we offer, like risk, ITP. So I think, I discovered that, I was more towards finance, and hence, when I went into year 2, I started to explore, and I chose to, pick up banking and finance as my specialization. Yeah, and no regrets for now.
That's great. I think, yeah, like what Cleo mentioned, when we take a step back, in year 1, I think the great thing about our curriculum is that you are exposed to every single specialization, and from there you really get a quick taster of what this specialization entails, and what are the possible career paths that you can take down the road. So we got exposure to HR, human resource, marketing, banking and finance, and quite a couple of others that from there, then you just try and you're like, okay, if you like it, then you specialize in it. So for myself, similar to Cleo as well, I think banking and finance was something that really interested me, and it like tied a lot with like economics, which was something that I had an interest in. So for me, I think it was quite a clear-cut answer, and I think one of the key mods that I actually had a lot of fun with was this mod called Wealth Management. I'm not sure, have you taken it before?
I'm taking it this sem.
I'm taking it this sem.
Yes.
I took it last sem.
Last sem. Do you like it?
Yes, for sure.
Right.
The professor, I really like the professor.
Exactly. And I think like one unique thing about that professor in particular, Prof. Brian, shout out to him, is the fact that he is a working professional right now. That's why he is able to bring in like real life updates and insights into our lessons, which is very, very applicable. And it isn't like the typical stuff where we just learn about theories, etc. Because wealth management, we're looking at things more towards like the private banking kind of career path, and you get to try out and see if there's something that you're interested in. If it is, then maybe there's a career path you want to sort of like explore down the road. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that mod, as well as the other finance mods that I've been having so far lah. Yeah.
That's great to hear. So maybe just to talk about the different specializations, we have HR, human resource, marketing, I believe risk analytics.
Yeah.
Risk management.
Risk
Management.
something yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then we have also business analytics, actuarial science, banking and finance, and international trading program.
Correct.
So these are the 7? Or is there one more that I missed?
I think so.
7.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
Yes, so we have these seven specializations. And I think my experience was quite similar to Cleo and Kimberly. It's just that I knew that I wanted to be in finance all the way back in NS. In NS. Not so fast in JC, but in NS. So I think it's quite the common cliche where guys go to NS and then in like probably the last year of NS, you kind of try to figure out what you want to do. And during that time, I actually started trading. I did my own trading in Forex, started a retail account and just traded on my own. And I think that really interested me. And that's kind of why I chose the finance route at the end of the day. So that's how I really got into all of this. And I echo what they mentioned. I think the first year that we have in this curriculum really gives you an eye-opener to what sort of courses or what sort of specializations that you want to take. Be it finance, be it business analytics, so on and so forth. The options are endless. And by exposing everyone to all these different options, I think some students come into uni feeling that it's very daunting. You have no idea what you want to do in the future. And by actually exposing yourself to all these different modules, you get a feel of everything and then you can make your decision from there on. So, okay, let's move on to the next questions. How would the career opportunities differ for someone who does a double degree in banking and finance versus just a single degree in banking and finance? So, unfortunately, Winston, I don't think you can answer this question. Maybe you would like to touch on, like, is there a difference if someone takes a degree with marketing or just a double degree with a specialization in marketing? Do you think that makes a difference?
Okay, if I were to answer this question then, I guess in that sense, it really depends on whether your second degree value adds to the role that you're applying to, right? But if you're generally specializing in marketing, say our double degree program, in general, unless you're, say, applying to the Big Four but a marketing role within the Big Four, then perhaps it will play a huge part in your application. And you have more to discuss with your employers, your HRs when they call you. But in that sense, for the jobs, because I believe some of us, we've already started our job searches, right? I would say so far, I don't feel any fallbacks in any of my applications, even though I'm a single degree with a single specialization. Yeah.
So I think for me, coming from the perspective of like holding a double degree, then I think it comes to the point where because I'm more interested towards like I'm also pursuing a more of like a role within the banking and finance specialization. But then I would think like my accountancy degree does provide me an edge or like provide me an advantage in terms of like when it comes to like finance role, we have to look a lot at like companies like financial statements, learning how to analyze them. So I would think that compared to someone with a single degree, I do have more technical knowledge in that sense, knowing how to read companies' financials, knowing how to analyze them. I definitely do have an edge as a double degree student, yeah, from my point of view.
So how has looking at financial statements been for you?
I mean, that is really specific, but then I mean, knowing how to read company like fundamentals, like financial statements and this sort of things, while I would say even in banking finance specialization as a single degree itself, you are also exposed to this sort of like accounting knowledge, but then it's not as technical or not as specialized and as when you do it as like a accountancy degree itself.
Yeah, I think from a single degree perspective is that the school does provide like a basic accounting mod such as like financial accounting as well as management accounting. So just even with a single degree business, your grounds are sort of covered because accounting does represent the backbone of any businesses that you're looking at. But at the same time, I would say go and take a look at the curriculum as well as like the modules of what this degree is about. It's totally fine if you want to take double degree and halfway through you decide that okay, maybe something doesn't really interest you or you don't find the value add as much. The school will definitely support you if you want to like switch paths or like drop a degree. That's also possible. I think that's really a valuable asset, a valuable thing about NBS is that it's very flexible, and no matter how you want to like pave your path, you want to switch here, you want to switch there, of course be sure of the decisions you make, but the school will support you in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's not wrong. I think it comes really down to the trade-offs or what you really value. Because taking a single degree, of course, you graduate 1 year earlier, so you are 1 year ahead of the double degree students. But at the same time, some modules that you take in accountancy can give you an edge in different areas, like what Cleo mentioned, be it in usually when you're coming into the finance industry, you have to look a lot at financial statements, and this is something that an accounting background will help you to get an upper edge in. So I guess in that sense, it really comes down to what you value, but each degree, of course, or I would say taking a single and double, it's really what you truly want. And then from there on, you can focus at what you want and then pursue it. So I think probably a more interesting background would be probably the ITP program, so the International Trading Program. So for them, they have very specific modules relating to international trade.
Yeah.
So things such as commodities, derivatives. So these are some of the modules that they have to take. And it's quite specialized in the sense that I would say the industry itself is not very, very huge or very talked about in Singapore. So it's something that gives you an upper edge in that direction. And for me personally, because currently I'm working in a commodities firm, the accounting degree does not play as much of a role as compared to having knowledge in commodities itself. So yes, at the end of the day, it all boils down to what you're interested in and what you want to pursue. Whether the accounting degree value adds to you, that is really, at the end of the day, what you want to pursue. Okay, so is there any other questions? No? Okay, then we'll just keep the ball rolling. Maybe let's just talk about our internship opportunities since we've been coming on about our specialization. So Winston, let's start with you.
Sure, let's go. So in my latest stint, my latest internship experience, if I were to cite, would be with Adidas Asia Pacific. So it's actually shout out to the school for hosting the very first rendition of the work study program, WSP. So I took it up and I did go over to Adidas for 6 months as a digital brand activation intern. So what we basically did there as a DBA intern, in short, right, was a cool mix of everything you do see online. So from say e-commerce to online to digital to paid search, we did most of it all at one place, and it's spanned across 13 countries because it's APAC, which would be Southeast Asia plus Thailand. It was quite memorable as an experience because we really got to work with a lot of talented, driven people within the industry in such a fast-paced fashion industry. Yeah, especially since all the inline managers came from all over the world. There were people from India, Korea, Thailand, Philippines, and we had to hop on calls all the time, talk to them throughout the day.
Actually, just a question on that. Is the fact that when you were having this internship, maybe it was during COVID times and like there's all the restrictions and all that.
Yeah.
Do you think if there was like any impact, etc., on the entire experience?
Okay, I would say fortunately, because COVID measures has maybe drawn back a little, right? But in that sense, because there were still SMM measures involved, we did wear masks in the office occasionally. We had more hybrid working days, but it was all right because within an APAC hub, we had more online calls than physical meetings, which meant that throughout the day we were having calls with people in global, from people all over the world. So it didn't really make that big of a difference. But in that sense, we still had work office days. We still bonded together much as a team physically. Yeah, we went to the beach a lot too.
Winston, I heard you interned at NOC as well. So maybe tell us about your experience over there.
Okay, so I guess if we're back on me, if we're back on me to share a little more, if some of you, a lot of you, aren't familiar with what NOC is, it stands for Night Owl Cinematics, right? We were because we have closed, right? But we were one of the leading content hubs in Singapore, Asia, really. And we did a lot of content verticals online. There were podcasts, there were YouTube series. You might be familiar with Sugar Melon or Food King. I produced for Food King and the Thirsty Sisters podcast. So I was with the team for about a year plus, interned, then converted part-time. I would say that joining NOC for the first time was humbling because it was the first production experience I had, producing. We did end-to-end production. And what that basically means is in a team where we're really small but producing for huge brands, we had to do everything from account servicing to producing to the actual production to post-production and follow up with clients as well as performance that follows all of these content verticals. So while it might be a little lean, everything that you learn on hand, on set, I felt was everything you needed to enter the industry with. Yeah, and NOC was my first internship, I believe, in NBS, and I used it to clock off my professional attachment in year one. Yeah.
You?
So for me, actually, I think similar to Winston, I'm thankful for NBS that it has actually have many programs that allow us to actually, explore our internship interests or like allow us to actually, graduate on time while pursuing our internship, different verticals of like internship that we're interested in. So for me, Winston did the work study program, and for me, I did the experiential semester program where I actually, applied for an internship company myself, and I am able to graduate on time while pursuing an internship. So I think my latest internship I went to Temasek Holdings, where I was actually working as an investment intern. So I was doing more of like private equity related a private equity related role there, where I was looking at like how whether we should invest in like any particular company within the agriculture and food space. So I think it has been particularly insightful and interesting for me. Like I've been able to learn things that I don't learn within like through classrooms, and like get a hands-on experience within the industry, and like during my stint at Temasek, I've had the opportunity to work with many like the brightest minds in the industry for sure, and also build a lot of like network and connections, which I know will be valuable for me when I enter into the workforce next time. Yep, so I think thus far NBS has provided me a lot of support in terms of like sourcing for internship, and also when I apply for internship, and also throughout like interview processes. Yep. To you, Kim.
Thanks. I think unlike the other two, which maybe the other three who sort of like knew which direction you wanted to head towards from the get-go, for me, entering uni was a bit more daunting, sort of like free space, JC kid, fresh out of the traditional curriculum, and really trying to figure out what is it that I wanted out of my university journey. So I think what I really liked about NBS is the 3-year program, meaning that even if I go on 6 months, thanks, 6 months internship, I still graduate within 4 years, which is the regular degree time period. So for me, I had a lot of NBS support, and since Cleo already touched on like the career services officers, etc., maybe I'll touch a little bit more on networks. I feel like coming to university, your main takeaway is not just like that piece of paper where you say, I did it, I graduated with a degree, and the academic knowledge. I think that's also important. But another one that would really I found value adding was the kind of people you meet, the kind of networks, etc. And so for me, I started my uni journey with my first internship was actually with a VC firm where we're looking at investing in startups within Southeast Asia, and that one was a very, very exciting space because we were also looking at things during COVID times, trying to understand what is it that would help a startup succeed and reach that 10x, be a unicorn, such as like our C group, etc. So that was an interesting space, and I tried it out, and I was like, okay, that was fun, but what else is there that the world has to offer, right? So afterwards, I went into the consulting space, and that was with McKinsey, and super duper grateful for the experience over there. I met many great people, a lot of seniors actually from NBS, and I think like there's this idea of like mentorship whereby sometimes you go into a place and you're completely lost, but if they know that you are a school junior or like somebody who came from the same school, etc., they are like, oh, I got you, man, I'm gonna take care of you, and all this kind of stuff. And these are things that there's no way you can exchange it for anything else. Even if you have money or whatsoever, you might not necessarily meet these people that are willing to vouch for you and give you a little push or give you advice so that you will take like less mistakes down the road. From the get-go, you already know how to perform and all this kind of stuff. So that was fun. And then afterwards, I think I tried something very controversial. I was really thinking at a point, like, okay, back then the space was a bit more nascent, and to people, people might feel like it's a scam. But for me, I was like, okay, it sounds like a scam, but at the same time, I saw the use of it, so I was like, let me try it. And this space was the cryptocurrency space. So when I tell people that, they are always like, yikes, they're like, is that even legal and all this kind of stuff? And I was like, because there's so many questions around it, the regulations, all these are not set up, let me go inside and see what this space is about, and from there learned. So I think these are the few experiences that I had so far, and every single time it makes me, even if I don't know exactly what I want to do, maybe I learn something that I don't want to do. And slowly, like, your choices in life, you slowly start narrowing down, and you sort of like have an inkling of what kind of things excite you, what is something that you derive joy on, or like something you can potentially see yourself doing when you first step out into the industry after graduation. Yeah, so I think those are just a couple of internship experiences I had, and I'm very, very, very lucky to have NBS as well as seniors and the people I've met that has like supported me throughout. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. I think for myself, I'm actually on my 4th internship now. So maybe just a couple of pointers to touch on. I think my first internship, I would say, really I have to thank NBS because it was through career fairs that actually, it was our first career module that we had to take that I actually found out about the first internship in the first place. So I think for many of y'all, I think y'all know that as a first year student, it's quite unheard of to actually land an internship in a bank. But then actually HSBC has this year 1, year 2 internship program specifically for year 1 and year 2 students. And it was through our career services module that I actually went for a HSBC talk, and then from there on, I actually found out about this program, and then I applied for it. So that's what I actually did in year 1. I did financial reporting in HSBC. Fun fact, Cleo actually interned at HSBC as well. I didn't get to meet her in office because at that point in time it was COVID, but she was supposed to be in the cubicle right behind me or something like that. So yeah, quite fun fact. Yeah, and then in my second internship, even though I know I wanted to do finance, I felt that, okay, let's go and explore, see what else is there in the market to do. So I did strategic planning in Pacific International Lines. So I think the most fun thing about that was that I actually managed to attend a board meeting. And it's quite uncommon for interns to actually attend a board meeting, so it was quite an eye-opening experience. And then in my third internship, I went to a small startup trading firm called Willow Index Capital. So I learned from traders over there how to trade, and that eventually led me to my current internship, which is a part-time internship with Centrica Energy Trading. So what I do now is that I trade power or electricity in the Europe markets, and it's a very, very niche job. It's very, very interesting. I don't think there's a lot of people doing it in Singapore. So I think it's also, and just to back up on their point about the school supporting us, I think holding a part-time internship isn't easy because you are part-time interning and working at the same time. So for my schedule now, I'm working on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then I come to schools on Wednesdays and Thursdays. But how the NBS curriculum is like is that you can shift the curriculum around to suit your needs. And that is what I truly value, because if I'm having to take, like, say, 5 modules in this semester, I don't think I will be able to cope. But because of the flexibility of our module, being able to shift our different modules here and there, I'm actually able to take 3 modules this semester and then work on the other 2 days. So it really helps to keep everything down. And yeah, that's kind of my internship experience so far. And I think we have a question up there asking, is a professional attachment 3 or 6 months? And if it is 3 months, can I do it during the holiday/special term? So I think for many of us, our professional attachment was 3 months.
3 months.
So it was HSBC for you, for me?
In senior ventures.
And then HSBC for her, and then for you was with NOC, I believe?
Yeah, I believe it was 10 weeks.
Yes,
yeah,
10
correct.
weeks,
It's
so
10
not
weeks.
exactly 3 months.
Yeah.
So 10 weeks, and it usually happens during our summer break. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk
But
about
there is an opportunity, because I have friends who did it in the winter as well. Because if you're unavailable in the summer, or if you didn't manage to get a PA secured by the summer, there is availability for you after you speak to the officers to do it in the winter. Then during your first week of school, you might have to negotiate with your employer on mixing out perhaps the first week of lessons or so, because you need to clock out all 10 weeks. But it's an arrangement that could be made for quite a few of my friends. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can really see the flexibility that NBS offers us. Yes, Kim, you were saying something?
No, I was thinking maybe because they asked about the 6 months internship. Do you want to touch on LA?
Okay. Personally, I've not done an LOA, but I believe my fellow friends here have done LOA, so maybe you all would like to touch on your LOAs.
Yeah, so I think for the 6 months internship that you're referring to might be on LOA, which we call leave of absence.
Yeah.
So actually I did like 2 leave of absence before I came back to school this semester. I did one when I was with Temasek, which I was sharing earlier, and before Temasek I was with SMBC doing private equity within the infrastructure space, where we cover investments within the Asia Pacific region excluding Japan. So Yeah, I think we have the flexibility to see whether, we want to pursue like, 3 months, the 3 months internship, which I believe you'll be referring to, the one during our summer break. And then the 6 months one would be, where we take a semester off school and then we pursue our internship. Yeah, but that would definitely like, lengthen the amount of like your period of candidature in school unless you, cram your modules for like the semester when you come back. Yeah.
I think just building on to Cleo's point, maybe some people are like, why go for 6 months or why go for 3 months? But I think for myself, I really wanted to explore the space more in depth. Sometimes you feel like, okay, like 10 weeks might not be enough because the first few weeks you're still onboarding and then you're still trying to get to know the space, know your colleagues, etc. But when you're in there for 6 months, you really do see it through. You get to see some deals and engagement end to end and all these kind of things. And not just like, you not just ask yourself, is this the kind of job you want, but is this a lifestyle you want? 6 months is good enough for you to really hustle through and see like, okay, what are your non-negotiables? Maybe some people really value work-life balance and you feel like, oh, maybe this industry doesn't really fit it. So by the end of 6 months, it really gives you a clearer idea of, is this the industry I want to go for? And do I see myself getting excited and being in this space? Yeah, I think that was something that I really am grateful for the leave of absence for. Yeah.
Maybe to add on a bit, I would then also talk a little about the work-study program. It was something I went for, but maybe if the students who are listening in don't know what it is a program where you get to trade in and clock off all of our unrestricted electives, which everyone has to take, right? But you graduate at the same time if you were to go on a 6 months, technically LOA, with a company that the schools have sourced for all of us. So the companies that you could choose from are all pretty prestigious. I went to Adidas, there were DBS, there were TBWA, a top reputable creative agency.
I think now we even have JP Morgan.
Yeah,
there was.
JP Morgan as
There's
well.
also Shiseido,
Credit Suisse.
Private banking.
huge banks, huge FMCGs, huge brands that you could choose from, honestly, and you get a really great opportunity to enter these programs because they already have a partnership and connections with our career services team. So on top of that, you get to graduate on time, but at the same time, get to choose from a huge plethora of options across different brands, different industries, different specializations that you could really go in, dive deeper with the great talents of the different industries, and at the end of the day, learn really quite the huge bit.
And you can clear credits. I think that's the key selling point also.
Yeah, graduating on time.
Yeah.
And I think maybe just to touch on Cleo's point of cramping, I think we have a lot of students here who are concerned, oh, it's a 3-year program, and then we are having to cram the modules, all this. Are we learning less than our peers who are going through their 4-year programs in other universities? So let's just go one round again.
Okay, so that leads to me, right? From a marketing specialization student perspective, I would say the semester I had the most mods honestly wasn't that cramped. I'm not sure about the rest, but y'all can speak for yourself. I had the max I had at capacity was 5 mods, max 6 mods in one semester, and it wasn't that tough. That was about, if you were to have 2 lessons in a day, that's about 3 days max of lessons. Yeah, it was entirely doable if you revise. Yeah.
Consistency
is key.
So I think for me, even doing a double degree, like in the span of just 4 years, I didn't really feel that the curriculum was very cramped. Like I still took up part-time internships throughout my entire first year of university. I felt that it was quite manageable, at least for me. Yeah.
Rare breed. I think for myself, I think rather than thinking of are we like missing out on something, no, I don't get that feeling at all, especially when you go to internships and then you meet your friends from the other schools as well, and then you just see like you won't feel like, oh, I'm learning less or anything. I think because NBS curriculum is very compact, very efficient in what they're teaching, so I think it's really great lah, honestly. And yeah, 3 years is really, I'm a huge fan of the 3-year program.
Yeah, I think when I talk to my friends in other universities in Singapore, I don't feel that I'm really missing out on much. I think the knowledge that we share together, I would say it's pretty equivalent. I don't think we are lacking in any sort of area or any topics that we are lacking on. So I think the 3-year program is great. Like what we always mention, you get to graduate 1 year earlier, but it's not sacrificing on your knowledge as well and not sacrificing on the content. And Yeah, I think that's really the main selling point that we always talk about, and it's always why we choose NBS, because you graduate 1 year earlier, but at the same time you learn everything that there is to learn.
Yeah. And,
So,
sorry.
yes,
And
go on.
like, just to add on, it's like if at any point in time you feel like you want to take less mods, you want to extend your degree, always an option. It's like, I think you can take up to, maybe you can do 5 years. If I'm not wrong, I do
Yes,
have a
you
senior
can.
that
Yeah.
went on like 2-3 LOAs, and he's really just exploring and enjoying the student life. So that's always an opportunity, a possibility. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's not very hard to cope with things. I think currently I get the mandatory 7 hours of uninterrupted rest by SAF. So yeah, even though I'm part-time interning and I'm studying at the same time, I think the workload is really manageable. As long as you do your priorities right, you plan out your schedules well, and that doesn't detract from anything. I don't think we are having any less fun than we would normally do. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah,
Correct.
it's quite okay to balance everything.
You still have your clubs, you still have your orientation, your hall activities. I think manageable, and like this, if you want to take more mods, like you want to take 5 mods, it doesn't have to be all academic. You can take unrestricted electives when you learn things like, I think you can learn pottery, sports. You can do sports as well, and you're clearing modules. For myself, I'm actually taking Pilates right now, so I have a lot of fun with it, and yeah, I really do think it's manageable lah.
Yeah, I wanted to get, I think there's this mod on weightlifting.
There is.
Yes,
Correct,
I wanted to get
correct,
it, but it's so hot. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I wasn't able to get
Oversubscribed.
it. Yeah,
Next
but
time, next time.
we'll see. Let's try. Okay, I think, and then you mentioned about clubs. So maybe let's touch about a bit on our CCAs and what we are doing in school. Winston?
Okay, from scratch when you're in year 1 or from
I think
recency?
the whole
Okay.
literature
Yeah.
so far.
Alright, let's swing. So across the 3 years, I started year 1 in the student union. I had a lot of fun. I attended orientation. I went for the NTU student union orientation camp, right? So it was really nice, and it was an opportunity on top of our faculty orientation to meet a lot of people from different faculties, different degree, different bachelors, really diverse people. But after that, moving forward, it was joining a lot of other clubs and societies. Fast forward that into year 1 and year 2, I joined NBS Marketing Club. So it is a club run by students, us, right? And it's really for aspiring marketers. So we did a lot of workshops, internship, sharing sessions. We also hosted a resume writing workshop with Career Services Office. And all of that is put together to assist marketing students such that they will be well equipped with skills to enter the marketing industry. So it was fulfilling at the same time, but I think the most important aspect of it and element of it was being able to meet like-minded peers like myself who are passionate about marketing. And in that sense, I get to make a lot of friends, I would say lifelong ones, that we meet together, have fun, tackle projects together, kids competitions together. Some we lose, some we win, but at the end of the day, we're going to graduate together.
Mister, I heard you were quite a big shot in marketing.
I think the perspective differs one to another. Yeah. I think Cleo's a big shot in banking and finance.
So for me, I've also had, like, before I even came to university, right, I've never really believed in like joining like academic clubs or like anything like that. Like I always felt like it was just a waste of time. I think until I really came into like university, and then I really joined like all these like academic clubs, and then I start to realize the importance of like building up my networks and also meeting like-minded individuals, like how much it can make an impact on me. I think that was truly one of my biggest takeaway from university thus far. I think year 1 I met Kimberly through Business Solutions, where we are a case consulting club, where I get to meet very driven individuals and alumni that actually still give back to the club up till today. Like they will come back and provide network and like sharing session to us. So I think thus far most of my closest friend in NBS has been people from the club, and also the people that really drives me forward, I think, are people that I've met through DCCA clubs. There's also a lot of when I was still trying to explore the world of like banking and finance, I also had the opportunity to join many finance clubs like investment banking club, where John is our president there, and then I've also joined investment interactive club, where I actually I was also was the chairperson of the Singapore Financial Conference, I took that as a, leap of faith to actually, build up my confidence in like, leading people and also, building, setting up events, for the school and trying to like pay it forward. Yeah, so I think that was for me, CCA has been a really big part of like my life in NBS thus far.
I really agree with Cleo on that, because if we take a look at just the curriculum alone, sometimes it's just like you go there, you meet the person for the lesson, then hi bye, okay, touch and go, next one. So to find like really, really close friendships, etc., I think clubs, halls, orientations, events, all these are the kind of platforms that you have to really meet people and bond. So yeah, like how I met Cleo, I was from Business Solutions Case Club, and I think that club it really gave me a lot of perspectives into what the business world is like, and in particular I think it shed a lot of light on the consulting space. Yeah, so for my what we did over there was quite interesting. Some people love it, some people don't really love it. It depends on what excites you, I guess. For us, we did 10 weeks of case cracking.
Yep.
Yeah, so just maybe slight preamble into what a case is like. Essentially, every business has a certain problem or a certain goal that they want to achieve, and then us as students, right, we come together, we try to like help them solve their problems. And why this is interesting and why is it useful is that ultimately when you go to any company, you want to be able to value add, you want to be able to help them solve a certain problem or bring them to greater heights, in a sense. So like it's sort of like train your mentality and your problem solving skills from there, to which I'm very grateful, and like what you say, I met a lot of amazing juniors, batchmates, as well as seniors that up to now we still hang out, catch some drinks, etc. And just everybody just grows together in that sense, and it really gave me a lot of perspectives entering uni. Yeah, hearing other people, their stories, the internships they've taken, etc. Yeah.
Okay, thanks Kim, and thanks to Cleo for that short introduction. So yes, I'm currently the president of the Investment Banking Club in NTU at the moment. Previously, I joined this club when I was in year 1, and then I became the head of sales and trading, or the vice president, in year 2. So in this club, what we kind of do is we pass on knowledge to new students or incoming members, etc. So I think with the finance space, there's so much to learn, and there's not one person that can really encompass everything. So for me specifically, when I entered university, I was more in the space of Forex and equities. So these are the two spaces that I kind of touched on more and tried to impart into our new members. Whereas we have other people who are coming from commodities background, from crypto background, and so on and so forth, that the possibilities are limitless. So I think, like what they said, I think when it comes to clubs, it's really a space for people who are driven together for the common goal. I think all of us who enter the clubs, we are interested in one way or another. So for Winston, his club was in marketing. For them in business solutions, it would be more for consulting, and investment banking, of course, investment banking. So I think, yeah, these clubs are really areas or spaces where you get to hone your specific skills in this sort of spaces that drive you towards your eventual goal of wherever you want to be. But at the same time, it can also help you figure out what you truly want to do in the future. Because you can enter the club and then realize maybe this isn't a thing for me.
Yeah.
And then you eliminate one thing of your choice. And then that's really how it helps to build you. And I think for clubs in NTU as well, we are quite collaborative. I think quite a lot of us work on some different events together. So I think currently, IIC, which is Investment Interactive Club, and Investment Banking Club, we're working on a project together for another event that we are planning to host this semester. So yeah, I think this sort of space really helps you to build yourself as an individual in school and then in the future as well. So I think it's a great space.
And I think maybe just to add on is that majority of these clubs are actually student run.
Yes.
So if at any point in time off the fly you feel like, oh, I want to host a certain event, I want to invite speakers down, etc., I think NBS really does provide the kind of support required. I think for us, for business solutions wise, actually right now we actually have a team overseas right now for a competition in, I think it was Africa, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so it's like going overseas for competitions or inviting guest speakers, holding SFC, Singapore Financial Conference, all these kind of things. Like, it might sound a bit daunting if you think about it as like a early 20s student. I'm supposed to hold so many responsibilities and all this kind of stuff. But my philosophy, and I feel like a lot of our philosophy is like, if we don't learn now, then when are we going to learn it? When we enter the workforce, there's also a possibility, but you just learn a bit later. So yeah, I think like having a safe space to pick up this like event hosting, how to speak to VIPs, how to host them, etc. These are really critical skills to have, and you learn it now in a controlled environment. There are people to guide you, etc. So it's like, even if you make a mistake, it wouldn't be too disastrous, and then you just learn from there. Yeah, and these are the very valuable skills that you take into the workforce eventually.
Yeah, I think it was a great point you brought about how the school actually really supports
Empowers.
us. Yeah, it really empowers us to host this sort of events, come up with our events on our own. I think personally, last semester for our investment banking club, we actually invited the CIO of HSBC down to give us a talk, and then we had pretty fun interactive session with him.
Yeah.
Learned a lot of new things about the private banking space, the investment space, and how HSBC and his views of the global market. And during that period, I think it was the NBS alumni club. They actually came down to give him a small token of appreciation. So I think the school really helps you all to, or helps us, helps students to actually organize these events and push us further. So I think moving on to the next question, we can see how is the culture and student life at NBS. So I think there's multiple levels at this. When it comes to culture and student life, we can talk about hall, we can talk about the orientation. So maybe let's just start with the orientation since it's about NBS first. So.
Okay, I could start. For me, I believe there are a few tracks for orientation when it comes to Nanyang Business School. Do remind me if I miss out any. Right, I believe there's Zenith.
There's five.
There's
Yeah.
five. Okay, I was from Zenith.
Yes.
Yeah, I will not name the rest.
NBS FOP.
MBS FOP.
Inflammatory.
Inflammatory.
Colour
Colour
Splash.
Splash. What's the last one? I'm sorry if we forgot about you, but.
Rush.
Rush.
MBS Rush.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's five of them. I was in Zenith, but I would say it's not that one's superior or inferior to the other. We all came from different ones, I believe, right? And we all turned out well. But we definitely meet a lot of people, different people. In fact, John and I, we were orientation mates from back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were the same group in
Yeah,
Zenith.
so it was a great opportunity coming in the MBS orientation, but back then because COVID was still lightening up,
Online.
I believe it was at most hybrid. I don't really remember.
No, it was
virtual.
online. For us,
Yeah, it was fully virtual. Yeah, but when we did come back to school, there was an opportunity for us to finally meet, say, for a meal. When we came back, and it wasn't daunting anymore because you knew where you were having your lessons. There were people you met before, your seniors, your other faculty mates that you had your orientation with. So it was good. The seniors really helped and went out of their way to guide us. Some of them shared teaching notes that were useful. Such that it would be easier for us to tackle certain modules. Yeah.
Agreed. I think I definitely echo what a lot of the things that Winston said regarding like orientation, and also maybe I could share a bit more about like hall life, because I think hall life has played a big part in like, you know, actually hall was one of the key reasons why I chose NTU for sure, and I think up to today it is also a safe space for me, you know, wherever, you know, where I feel stressed from school, you know. I think my hall friends are people. Outside of NBS, I get to meet like, you know, people from other faculty through halls, and then, you know, hall also has its own orientation program, and also you can participate in like sports on a non-competitive level. When you're like me, you're not good at like a particular sport, you can just join like for fun, just to like, you know, relieve your stress and then like meet new people. So I would say like in terms of culture, like student life, NTU has a lot of support and like, you know, a lot of opportunities in this space to meet friends and new people.
Yeah. I think talking about hall, so for myself, I was in two halls. One was hall 5, and then the other one was in hall 9. And I thoroughly enjoyed myself. In hall 5, like, there's very interesting interest groups. You can go and learn Chinese chess and all the way to sports. And then for myself, like, I actually did theatre when I was in hall, and people really like script their come up with their songs from scratch. They really put in the hours to act, etc. And I think that was honestly very fun. I think NTU, when I think of NTU and I tell people I stay in NTU, they always be like, oh yeah, Pulau NTU, exactly, correct.
Yeah, different SIM card.
Yeah.
Remember your passport.
Remember your passport, the checkpoint just there. Yeah, but I think that's why hall was a great value to me, because like if I had to travel back and forth every day, I was like, how many hours of sleep will I be missing out to factor in this kind of stuff? And really no regrets. Yeah, because like different halls have their different cultures and you can sort of like explore it. Then at night, like when you study together, at night we are very stressed, be like, supper, am I? Then let's go. And then there's like extension there, but I think food is constantly available in NTU.
24 hours.
Yeah, 24/7. You do not need to worry that there wouldn't be enough food. You just need to make sure you maintain your physique. Yeah, I remember gaining a lot of weight in year 1, sem 1, because it was like, oh, every time we meet supper, okay, let's go. Then after that we get like fried bihun or these kind of things. So that it's really fun lah, and it's, for me, like, it was the first time I actually have a personal space to myself, as compared to staying at home where I share with my siblings, there's family and all this kind of, which is great. And then now in hall, I really learned to be independent. Was I spoiled last time? I like to think no, but coming to hall really forces you. You need to do your own laundry, you need to keep your space clean, or like sometimes you need to coexist with other people as well. For me, I was very lucky. I was able to room with my best friend in year 1 and year 2. That was great. We are still best friends. We didn't fight or anything, which some people actually, you do hear stories about people fighting at the end of rooming together. You see the person so much. That was one. Another experience I got was, right now, currently, I'm staying in Hall 9 with an exchange student from London. Yeah, so it's really interesting, the idea of like you're actually sleeping with a stranger next to you. You have to coexist and really like respect each other, hear more about their cultures, etc. So that's cool. And another thing about Hall 9 is that, sorry, I'm very excited, but another thing about Hall 9 is that Hall 9 is on like a hill. There's a lot of hills in NTU. For me, that's honestly my daily cardio. Like if I walk from Hall 9 to South Spine, right, it's like 20 minutes of brisk walking checked. Yeah, and then after that, it's on a hill, right? So sometimes when it rains and I open the door, when I'm very lucky, right, it's super hot, is that I get to see like wild boars sliding down the hill. Like, no cap, yeah. So we have wildlife here as well.
Yeah, but 20 minutes of brisk walk, don't worry.
Yes.
We have our own internal shuttle.
Yeah,
we do.
For those people who are
healthy living.
Kimberly, you can choose to take the buses. Don't worry,
Yes.
you're not obliged to walk under the hot sun.
Yes, you don't have to be
We all
like
don't
Kim.
like. Not all of us enjoy doing it. Yeah, so I think personally, like what Winston shared, I was from Zenith for my orientation camp in NBS. I think another fun fact he didn't mention, that both of us eventually became group leaders for Zenith camp as well. So we came back to organize the camp the following year, and it was quite fun, I would say, because if I'm not wrong, our following year was hybrid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it became hybrid, and I believe this year will be pretty much
might be
fully
physical already.
I mean,
Yeah.
DOSCON is going green,
Yeah,
so
correct,
I'm guessing it's
correct.
going to be fully physical.
Muscless,
So
beach
great for you all.
day.
There will be beach day and everything. All the physical activities are back. And yeah, I think even though it was online for us, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I got to see new faces, and especially I think the one most important thing was to meet people before entering university.
Yeah.
Because on the first day, you come in as a lost child. You're like, oh my god, university is so big. Which class do I go to? How do I find the class? Where's S3?
Yeah.
Where's S4? Where's Hive?
Yeah, correct,
Yeah.
correct.
So-
So you have like all these seniors that you can reach out to.
And I was very thankful because actually one of my seniors, he was a group leader. And then he actually said, okay, you meet me at this bus stop. You take to this bus stop, you meet me there, I will bring you to your classroom.
Yeah.
So that was perfect. I could find exactly where my classroom was on the first day. It wasn't late. You will see a lot of people late.
Yeah, correct,
Yeah, it
correct,
was
correct,
great.
correct.
So yeah, you really build a lot of camaraderie. You meet a lot of new friends during this period. And for hall, I stayed in Tamarind. So it's one of the newer halls. It's very tall. I think our top floor is...
It looks like a condo.
It looks like a condo.
from
I mean,
outside.
yes, it's a smaller version of a condo because you are living, I mean, depends. If you get a 2-person room, you're living with a buddy, or if not, if it's a 1-person room, you're living on your own. So it's like almost having your own apartment.
Yeah, it is.
So it's pretty cool.
Got gym also.
Yes, there's a gym at Tama.
Yeah.
So that's one good thing. And I think it's quite new. It comes on and off because it's run by my friend, but they have this supper service called Tama Burgers. So it's like McSpicy like that.
Oh.
Yeah, so you see that it's actually very, very interesting, and you'll be surprised how many students are up at
Yeah.
that timing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be I'm starting until like 4, 5 a.m. because I'm a night person, and then I could like just text the group, and then you'll see another person up, and then you're like, what are they doing up at this timing? But it's great because sometimes you're stressed over work, you're stressed over school or anything, and at this sort of timings, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., generally you don't find many people around. But in school, in whole life, you will find people who are up.
Yeah.
And then there are people you can confide in, you can talk about. I mean, it doesn't have to be even when you're sad or anything. If you're just like chilling or whatever, and you want someone to talk to, you want to hang out with someone, there will be people around.
You can run.
Oh, you can run.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a running track around
Yeah,
NTU.
correct. We have like there's a track, like a normal regular track. We have also a track
Yes.
around the entire school.
I think you will clock around 5, 6 km. I tried one round before.
Track.
Yeah, it was like, oh, but yeah, I think it's very, very fun.
Yeah.
Like what Kim also said, I think for NS guys it's not as bad because we go through NS, but you do learn a level of independence because there are washing machines, everything, so
Yeah.
you clean your own clothes. I mean, you don't have to cook for yourself, you can cook for yourself, there are pantries available, there's microwave, so you can do that. But it really teaches you how to live alone. Next time when you go out into the working world, you have to find your own apartment, clean your own laundry, clean your own
Yeah.
dishes, everything. Yeah, it really teaches you how to become more independent. So
Yeah.
I think that's a very, very great thing. And we have a question here about all year ones are guaranteed a hall stay. Is that true? And then what happens when I proceed to year 2? So anyone wants to take that question?
Maybe I'll share a little bit more about it. If I remember correctly, all year ones are guaranteed hall stay, and I highly recommend everyone to give it a shot. Year 1, really just come in and explore. That's where you really meet people from all walks of life. You get to try out different stuff, and then you build your own support network. And I think if any of you guys are free, I highly recommend you guys come down for our physical open house on the 25th, because you can take a look at the NTU campus, see if there's something you guys like. Take a look at our housings. I think the dorms are honestly quite pretty.
Yes.
Quite pretty. Yeah, like you get to choose. Like you want those chalet looking ones, there is that option. Then you want like the bigger condo ones.
Condo one is Tama.
You have Tama, North Hill also. Then there are those mega size rooms and Hall 5. Hall 5, Hall 4. Yeah, that looks really good. So definitely do come down and check it out. As for year 2 wise, I think it really depends. But to be safe, I highly, usually what we do is that through participating in clubs, CCAs, orientation,
Hall activities.
yeah, correct. And all this kind of stuff, like you, in a form, you contribute back to the school. And then after that, when you do so, you can like earn points. Yeah, so through these points, then it will really guarantee your hall stay in year 2, year 3, year 4, etc. Yeah, but NTU has a lot of halls. I think if I'm not wrong, we have 26? 24. Around there,
I
24,
know it's
24, I
20
think.
something.
Yeah,
It's
Halls.
plenty.
Yeah, we have a lot of halls. So like the supply is there,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just like have fun in the process, and it's definitely much easier to secure hall. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know of people who stay in hall even though their house is probably like 5 minutes away.
Yeah, like just opposite the hall
Winston?
over there.
Yes.
Winston? Yeah.
Yes, I do have hall. I live at North Hill. Right, it does look like a condo.
It
I
does,
enjoy it.
it does.
And yeah, I do live 5 minutes from home. But I echo everything that they said. I agree that it did teach me a lot of independence. Washing my own laundry, drying them, going out of my way to prepare food and cook in the pantry. All of it, it's nothing like NS, okay?
It's definitely not like
Even though that was what John compared it to.
No, I think that we are independent, but then...
Yeah, but it was picking up after yourself. And I think it was a valuable life learning experience. I definitely enjoyed it, working it through with my roomie. Yeah, having someone to tackle life together, yes.
Okay, I think we are slowly coming to the end of the session, so let's probably start to end off. So we have a question that if we could give a piece of advice to all prospective students, what would the advice be? So, Winston, have you thought about anything?
Me? Okay, okay. I guess I'll go again. Let me keep this short, okay? So if there's any piece of advice I'll give to prospective students, I would say when I came into NBS, I was never an academic because I don't know how to study. My parents always say I don't know how to tuck take, right? But in that sense, while I might have my own coping mechanisms, I would say what I did by year 1 and I still do religiously up to year 2 and now year 3 is I always put aside time, be it during the week or during the weekends, to really revise the tutorials. And the tutorials are not the week from before or the week before, okay? It's the tutorials for the coming weeks. So that when you're going to class, you're well equipped with what's necessary for you to understand and comprehend what the professors teach. And that's the best advice I can give. So even if you don't know how to study, at least you understand. And if you understand, you won't fail, in my opinion. Yeah?
Agree with you. So for me, I think I'll keep it short and sweet also. I think consistency is key. Learning how to manage your time is a very, very key thing, not just in school, but also when you go out to the workforce. This is something you really have to learn yourself, learn to manage your time. And I think once you are consistent with your work and everything you do, put aside time for studies and also for work and play, then everything will, university will go very smoothly. Yeah.
It'll fall in place.
Yes, everything will fall in place.
Yeah. I think for myself, when I think of what's a piece of advice I'll give prospective students, I think back to myself before I applied to NBS or when I just applied entering uni, everything feels quite lost. There's so many things, the world has so much to offer. So a piece of advice I'll give is don't be afraid to try and really just put yourself out there. At most it doesn't work out and then you now know that, okay, maybe not this one, then you jump over to another path. So just put yourself out there, don't be afraid of failure, and then after that, learn your mistakes from there. Yeah.
I think Kimberly kind of stole my line, but it's also quite similar.
We resonate.
Don't be scared, just do.
Yeah.
So when you come to university, there's endless opportunities out there. So grasp at every opportunity, make new friends, network around. I think this is really what will bring you through university.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the friends that you meet will help you survive through university, help you build your future careers as well, and you never ever know. Maybe next time in the workplace, you'll see someone who you met in university. So I think it all comes around. And I think just to wrap it up, hope you all enjoyed the session, and hope to catch you all on the 25th of February at our Physical Life House. Bye bye.